Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Let me put on my... It's like, I wish I could do this without getting like my big old finger in the way. Okay, maybe that's better. There we go. Wait for everyone to get on. Today we have our live feature with Chris Ann Donnelly. She is the creator of so many tarot decks. Oh my gosh. And we are going to talk about her new one, the Tarot of Curious Creatures, today. So I'm really excited. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. All right. How's everyone doing? All right, let's see. Okay. Let's see. How's everyone doing? She was just letting me know that she will be on in a minute. So we're just going to chit-chat, see how everyone's doing today. Does anyone have any plans for the weekend? What is everyone doing this weekend? Anything fun for Halloween, Samhain? I think it's supposed to rain here, which I hope it doesn't. My kids are older, so they don't go out anymore or anything, but it stinks when it rains on Halloween. Yes, I know. I am excited. She's so sweet. So it's going to be awesome. I think she's just fixing something like her tech thing. So we're going to let her get settled. But also too, if you guys have any questions for her, if you want to ask her anything, you can go ahead and do that. And there is, if you're on your phone, on the bottom, there is a question mark, like in the little question bubble thing. And if you push that and put your question in there, it kind of alerts me so it doesn't get lost in the feed. So if you want to try using that, you can. I keep trying to use it to make sure it works and that, you know, it makes it just a little bit easier too, because then it doesn't get lost in the feed. Because we do have Amber. She is going to be popping on, and Amber, she is one putting all the links in and all of that too. So, and she'll usually try to catch any questions anyone has. So that definitely, that helps. So, because, you know, IG likes to change everything, and they add stuff, then they take it away and all of that. Yes, I know. It's so much fun. It is so much fun. I do have it here. Woo! And I used it actually on our live. Hey, Amber. Yeah, she's going to be on in just a minute. I think she's just fixing something. I use it on the Monday live because I'm here every Monday at 9 Pacific, 12 noon. And I do a reading for every sign of the zodiac. I usually pull a tarot card and an oracle card. So I used her cards this week, and they were so much fun. So much fun. So that's what they look like. The backs anyway. But they are so sassy. I love it. And like some of them, they're just so much fun. Like, let me show you the devil card. Look, this is the devil card. Isn't that so much fun? So I love these. Yes, Beverly, I see that question. And definitely a question I'm going to ask. So, see, you got me covered already. I love it. But I'm going to write it down. Just, yeah, I'm going to ask her that. Yes, definitely. So, I love that too. And she actually, in the guidebook, is really cool too, because she gives a lot of suggestions on how to work with them. And I really like that she gives that like a path working exercise and stuff like that. So that's really cool too. And she always has like the websites for her decks. No, you don't have to stop. That helps me. I'm all about the questions. Definitely. No, but that's a good one though. I'm going to I will make sure to get that to her. And if I don't ask, you got to say it again. Or you can use a little like question button too, so it doesn't fly away. But Amber usually will help me keep me on track. Amber's really good at keeping me on track, which is a task sometimes because I kind of get squirrely. No, I'm curious too. That's totally why we're here. Like, we get to ask her these things and figure out, like, I just want to float around in her brain for a day or two and figure out, like, see what's going on, because these cards are so much fun, like some of them. And I actually did a walkthrough on them on my channel on Stardust Wanderer Tarot. I did a whole walkthrough and everything. So if you want to see each card, you can head over there as well and look at that, because it is so much fun. And I think we had a lot of fun too with the turtle. There's a turtle. Let me find him. The devil was fun. And there's actually two, great. See, Amber's always got my back. There's two fools in this deck too, which is really cool. So there's the Fool, and then there's a Fool 2.0. Look how much fun that is. Good morning, Mama Chiquita 7. So I want to find the turtle one because I just love it. It's so much fun. We'll find it. But yeah, they're just so, like, I feel like you could do so many things with them because of just the expressions. And they're like animals, but they have such good expressions. So it's really cool. But I need to find the turtle because he's the best. I don't know. I can't even say I have a favorite right now, but the turtle kept popping up when we were doing our readings for this week. And let me tell you, it was just, I don't know why. We just really had fun with it, which is, you know, that's what it's all about, right? So Amber is going and throwing in the links, like if you want to pre-order it. I think on Amazon it's out the 2nd, so I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah. No, I keep bees too. So it's that. That's what it is. I keep bees. Actually, last year was the only year I didn't do it. So we will probably be starting up again. But yes, I was a beekeeper as well. So that's why I had to put the bee on there. Plus, we also, my husband and I, we own an all-natural pest control company. And so, you know, all that stuff's really important, and just making sure and all that. So, you know, we need our bees. No, I can't find my turtle. I keep looking for the singing turtle. I can't find him. But yeah, so if you guys want to, you know, definitely to pre-order. And I think you can order it also on her website as well. Oh, here he is. I found him. Look at. Look at how cute. I just love him. Isn't he so cute? Look how happy he is. Like, I want to be the turtle every single day. Right? So much fun. I actually have a deck from her. I usually have it on my desk and I don't have it. It's like, I don't think it's a Sacred Creators. It's a different one. It's like for like ideas on posting. And oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how long ago I got it. It was so long ago. And I meant to grab it because I wanted to show her that I had it, and I forgot. So, but it was really cool. I know, it's so much fun. Look, this one's fun too. Like, I want to be that guy. And then the sparkles just add that extra layer to it all. So it makes it awesome. But yeah. Amber, could you take a peek in the messages just to see if she messaged again? Because if I look, then it like pauses everything, and then who knows what's going to happen. I almost threw my cards everywhere. So, look at my sword earrings all wonky. There we go. So yeah, so we have that going on. We got her. I also have the Muse. I love her Muse Tarot too. I really, really like that one. I feel like not a lot of people talk about it as much because, you know, the other one is so popular, but I do love the Muse, and I use that a lot for readings too with people, with clients and stuff. So yeah, we're just waiting for it to pop on. Let's see. Now, do you guys have any particular card from any of her decks that's your favorite that really like stands out for you? Also too, like, I always like to ask this question. I wrote one of the articles I did. They're not safe, but oh, yeah, I know. See, well, that is one perk of me living on a mountain, right? Beverly, you are funny. You're cracking me up. So, no, if you're on your phone, on the way bottom, it says comment, where you want to write your comment. And then it has like the little plus sign with the camera if you want to join in. And then the next one over is a question mark in like a comment bubble. And that's the one that you are supposed to be able to push and put your question in. And then it like alerts me, and then it like holds the question. So I've been trying to use it to see, just to make sure that I can get everyone's questions and all that. Yeah, I don't know. She said she was having a tech issue, so maybe just something wasn't connecting. We know how it goes with Instagram. So we'll give her a few more minutes, and then we will do that. But what did you say? Oh, yeah, the 4... Oh, yeah. So it might not be on the computer. It might not be on there, which is fine. It's all fine. Who knows? Because tomorrow it may be. And then next week it may be off of the phone. And, such as Instagram for us. That's it. That's all it is. So Amber likes the 4 of Wands and the star from the Lightseers. Those are awesome. I love the colors in there. Yeah, I can show you the star. So I know everybody always has like that one card, and I think one article I wrote, I think I asked a lot of people for, I think it might have been in the summer issue. What's the one card you look at when you open a deck? What's the first one? I always look at the Queen of Wands, and I didn't really know that until I asked that question, and then I was like, wait a minute, I gotta ask myself that question, and I just automatically go to it. So as I'm looking for the star here, hello Tarot Sparrow, let's see. Oh, and Saphira, do you like my shirt? I thought of you when I put it on today. I put on my dragon shirt for you. Oh, I see it. Here's the star, Beverly. Woo! Yeah, I know. Yeah, I figured it's just a phone thing. There's the star. Isn't that adorable? I love it. So that's the star card. And the moon. We have the moon here, so I'll show you the moon too. Isn't that awesome? I actually really like the dress that is on this wolf. It's really cool. Yeah, and like Amber said too, you can also put it in caps, so we make sure not to miss it. But yeah, so that's yes. It's so true. So yeah. But also too, next week on Tuesday, we're gonna have Nancy Hendrickson here too on All Souls Day, and we're gonna be talking about ancestors. She wrote the Ancestor Tarot, and it's all the way over there, or I get it. So, oh, there she is. I see her. You're here, yay. Okay, let me see there. I can invite you. All right, quest. So let's see what we got here. Yes. I know, it is an awesome book. I love it.
Hello.
There she is.
Hello. I'm so sorry. I had massive internet connection problems this morning. I had to reboot a billion things, and I was like, oh, are we still in Mercury retrograde? I don't know. I feel like we are. I know we're not, but
it's okay. Yes, we are. It's fine. We're gonna say it. Well, yesterday too, did you guys get all the crazy storms down there?
No, not up here.
No. Oh, okay.
I'm Toronto.
Oh, you're Toronto? Okay.
Yeah.
No, we got so bad. So I know, even yesterday, I was kind of glad it wasn't yesterday because my internet kept going in and out. But finally, they passed, and all is well. All is well. So, okay. So how are you?
A little frazzled, but good.
Right, right. It's okay. It's all right. So let me introduce you, give you a minute to settle in, and then we'll get chatting. So everybody, obviously, we all know who this mystical, magical, curious creature is right here. We have Chris Ann Donnelly, and she is the creator of the Tarot of Curious Creatures, which we're going to talk about today, the Muse Tarot, the Creator's Art Oracle, and Light Years Tarot, and all sorts of stuff. So we are going to kind of pick our brain a little bit today. We have some people already asking a little bit of questions and stuff. So, but I'm going to just really start right at the beginning. I'm trying to like wave at everybody, like, hello, everybody. So I want to know, how did tarot find you? Like, we're going right to the beginning.
You know, I found runes before tarot found me. So that was, you know, my first divination love as a child was runes. Not as a child, I was 15, I guess. I was a child.
Yeah.
I was young in the formative years. And
Yes.
I was actually at my grandma's house, staying in my aunt's room, and my aunt had a set of runes, and she had all of these like really cool Celtic things and fairy books. And so I spent the summer in her room just going through her bookshelf and found runes that way. And then by the end of the summer, they're in Inverness in Cape Breton. So I would always go down to the beach and play with her runes. And by the end of the summer, I just like gathered enough beach stones to then make my own runes. So that was really kind of my first divination love. And then after that, about probably a year later, I found a really old Rider-Waite-Smith, like I think probably from the 70s, used book in a used bookstore, and it was just the guidebook. And I opened it up, and it had, I wish I still had it. I don't have it anymore. It had someone's notes in it, like a whole bunch of notes, a whole bunch of
Oh, that's so
their
cool.
details, and it was just, it fascinated me. I wasn't allowed to have tarot in my house though, so
Oh, okay.
so I just had the guidebook, and then my actual first deck was I used that guidebook and I took it and I photocopied at the photocopier in my high school library on paper little mini Rider-Waite-Smith pictures and colored them in. And so that was my very first deck was this sort of um, hidden, not allowed,
Right.
deck that I had. And someone, I mentioned that, I don't know if you know Dave from Tarot and Tequila, but he was like, he said, wow, you have been creating decks since your very first deck.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of too. I was like, it just all started then.
Yes. And I never thought of it that way, but that was really, I was so appreciative of that viewpoint of his.
Yeah, no, and the minute you said that, I was like, all right, so she already just like created her first deck with her first deck. That's amazing. I love that. I love that. So when you finally, you started reading, getting into it, like where did that lead you? Like where did you find yourself at that point?
Curious.
Yes.
Really curious. And really feeling like totally out of my element, and like I had no idea what I was doing. And like when you first start, I felt like almost everyone, like with this massive desire to want to know how to read the cards, and
Right.
of such reverence, like they held these mystical secrets that I wanted access to.
Oh, totally.
um, and so that sort of was my sensation at the time. But to be honest with you, I didn't stick with the cards at the time. I was a teenager. They were in and out of my world for many, many years. And of course it was always like, uh, anytime I had a guy I had a crush on, or I broke up, or anytime I had this kind of angst in my world at that time,
Right.
I tend to, you know, tell my friends and then go to the cards or go to the runes. And so that
Right.
just kind of became a practice from a very young age, but it wasn't daily, not until, maybe 10, 15 years ago was when I was really like, this is like my thing all day.
Yeah. Right, right. Yeah, like when you hit that moment, like, okay, so this is kind of like this is a part of me now,
Yes.
right? So actually, Beverly just has a question here, so we'll throw that in. Does she divine with anything other than runes and tarot?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And more often than not, right now, more often than not, it is things other than runes and tarot. Um, I have done, uh, gosh, so many different courses and so many different things.
Right, right.
They kind of start to blend together. They're almost like in this bucket of it's this magical oracle bucket that your mind goes there more and more the more you do it. And so, I mean, I have done divination with rocks, with trees, with just randomly pulling stuff out of a book, with
Right.
sometimes it's really everything. Like life is an oracle. It's like the world is dripping with magic if you start to look at everything through that lens. Like
Yes,
literally,
absolutely.
like I can be walking in a crowd, not right now, but I used to walk in crowds a whole lot.
I know. I used to do things like that too. It's okay, Roseanne.
And here, like just like I can't even there's a term for it and I can't think of it, but just like what's bumps out in the crowd, like part of one person's conversation and put a part of another person's conversation, all of a sudden there's a message in that. When
Yeah.
your mind is wired for messages, you can literally get them from anywhere.
Oh, that's really cool that you said that too, because I've always wondered if anybody else did that, because that happens to me all the time. And it's something like my kids would always be like, stop eavesdropping. And I'm like, no, I'm not. It's just like literally like a little piece of this conversation and this conversation. And I would like put it together. So I love that you do that too.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
love
mean,
that.
that's if we're open to it, there's just that serendipity of what is in our awareness. I mean, that's everywhere. I fully believe that it's part magical. It's part this synchronistic, beautiful gifts from the universe. And on the other hand, I fully believe it's scientific. It's confirmation bias. We see what we need to see.
Right.
We're looking. We're noticing what we already believe in a lot of ways too. So you kind of put those two things together, and there's still something, whether it's magical or scientific, there's still something very beautiful there, because even if it is confirmation bias, it's what I need in the moment to move myself forward.
Right. Yeah. And I think just like you said, just kind of trusting that and going with it is so, so, so important. So like for people who don't do any of these things, what like advice do you have for them to kind of build their intuition and really start to trust those messages?
uh, Intuition is one of those things that the only way that we can really learn how to trust it, and this is an oddball answer, but it's like when we don't trust it and we're like, I should have known. Like, pay attention to all of those times when you knew, but you didn't trust it, at
Yes.
the beginning, because that is your that's your indicator right there. I didn't trust it. I should have. I knew, and I still did the other thing. It's like
Absolutely.
and then the more that you pay attention to that, the more you kind of wire yourself to start trusting that,
Mhm.
those internal nudges. And then also spending time, because intuition is such a subtle magic. It's so quiet sometimes if our heads are really loud, depending
Right.
on the way your internal voice is with yourself. But sometimes, especially if we're being harsh, like I find my intuition is super quiet moments in my life where I'm having a lot of anxiety or a lot of negative, a negative internal dialogue with myself. In those moments, my head seems to be really loud, and it's harder for me to tap into what I would consider to be my more subtle, intuitive knowing.
Right.
But if there's someone listening and that's them, and they're like, oh my goodness, I can't be intuitive because I have all of this stuff going on my head, in my head, it's not true. Not true at all, because actually higher intuitive levels or higher sensitivity to things like energy, actually there's been studies done, and there's people who have had a little more of that in their lives, or who have had even a little more trauma in their lives. They're actually more wired to be more sensitive to the external environment. So
Right.
there's no, what I'm trying to say is there's not one person on the planet that can't access their intuition.
Right. No, absolutely. And I think that, again, it's that trust and it's just going with, and like you said, like think back to those times, you know, like, you know, this should have you know, I knew this was going to happen, but I did the other thing. And that's like your confirmation, because I think too, like, people are always looking for instant confirmation, and that's just not a thing. That doesn't happen, right? So I think, like you said, it's just so important to just think back and just trust and go with it. I love that. And, you know, and then I think that rolls right into when you're learning the cards, when you're learning runes or any sort of divination of any sort. It's just, you have to put that trust in there. You know, it's so important. So as you know, went on, and, you know, you're kind of tarot and the runes, everything's a part of your life now. So how did you get inspired to create a deck? Like, how did you get into that whole situation? Like, how did that happen?
You know, I was running, I was running. I had a business. I say I was running it as if it wasn't mine. So when do I ever get to own all that stuff, right? I owned a badass creative agency. That's the way I should say it. And we were doing
I like that.
We were doing strategic, a lot of different brand consultations where we would do sessions where we'd get a bunch of people in the room and we'd look at their branding and like just really kind of creative sessions with all different types of businesses and clients. And was getting to a point in my business where I had larger clients and municipalities, and like things were going really well. But I started to feel less and less inspired, which is often the way when we make these big changes creatively in our lives, right? Like, things on the outside are amazing, but we're like, you know, you're just starting to feel like, I'm not loving this every day. And the busier I got in that, the little, you know, I was still doing all of the stuff that I love to do, but it was all in the back, in kind of in one foot in the spiritual closet, really. And I didn't bring any of my tools to work. And I felt more and more inclined to do so. And then, you know, I slowly, that just sort of built and built and built, where I started having almost like you know, I get this, I call it creator angst when I want to create something, but I'm not doing it. Like, I have this angst in my system, but I had that almost like not sharing all of my things that I was really doing. I felt like I wasn't sharing who I was.
Right.
Completely.
Yeah.
And so I started to bring in oracle decks into some of those meetings, and some clients absolutely loved it. Some clients absolutely were like, okay, we're not calling you again.
That we don't want that.
At the time, you know, you think 15 years ago, things were a lot different, right? So there was a lot less openness to cards and that sort of thing.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I just slowly over time realized that oracle decks were fantastic tool for helping even business owners to just get out of their own heads and figure out what they want for their branding. And then from there, I just kept searching for the perfect oracle deck. And I can't tell you how many times I tried, oh, this is going to be the right deck. And I brought it in and it was okay. But there was just no perfect oracle deck for that situation, for growing a business. And so I thought, I'm a designer. Maybe this is what I'm meant to create. So it was one of those, you know, just creating the tool that I wanted that I couldn't find.
Yeah.
And that's how the Sacred Creator, that was like my first deck with Sacred Creators.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I have that one. Yay, I love it. Yes. No, I love that. That's awesome. And, you know, just, you know, as you were going through the process, was it something that, you know, just kind of flowed right through you? You just kind of channeled the whole thing and just went for it?
Portions of it definitely felt like that. I would say portions of the deck. I know I knew what I wanted it to feel like, and I knew what I wanted it to accomplish. But, you know, when I first started doing it, my first idea was actually that it was going to be an app. Like, I think for some reason I thought that it should be tech or digital, because we had, you know, we were sometimes doing websites and doing, you know, like it was that it had to be something that wasn't cards. And so I started creating it, and I did probably a quarter of the deck all digitally with the, you know, with all of the tech, and it would flip and they could pick their card. And really approaching it from my, like, the work that I was doing, kind of like, okay, let's get the code, like, what do we need here? And then partway through I was like, no, this just needs to be a deck. It doesn't need to be an app. Like, it needs to be paper. I want to touch it and feel it, and I want to use it the way I want to use it, like, so through that process. So there was that head part of it. So it wasn't ad, but the actual messages, they came, you know, the actual cards, that was super fast. the artwork on that deck was super, well, it was quick because it was
Hmm.
like they're simple designs, a lot of watercolor backgrounds.
Right.
I wanted there to be, and at the time, I mean, the deck has evolved. At the time, it was much more watercolory and pastels, and now it's really bright and punchy, right? Like the deck has
Right.
changed over time. But the guidebook was, I would say, it took me time because it was like a 300-page book, but it did feel like it was easy to write.
Right.
You know, it was like it just kind of,
Yeah.
and I wasn't a writer. I'd never written before, so there was a sense that some of it was channeled, or also based on 20 years of experience. You know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah.
kind of, it worked.
Yeah.
Some of the
No.
decks had more of a channeled feel than others. The Muse felt like it was just not mine, and I was just the
Really?
vessel, like just go.
Just went right through. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah, I love that. That's one of my favorites. I do love the Muse. I really do.
So that's
I
it
love
is
it.
it is near and dear to my heart. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
it
it
is.
was so, I felt so inspired when I was doing that deck that I couldn't sleep. Like I was up, I was like, the ideas and the go, and I felt like I was
Mhm.
Photoshop and like artist by proxy to this other energy. And
Right.
I've not had that with any of the other decks. They've all had a little element of that.
Yeah.
Muse was like just full on, and I didn't question it. I think that was part of what, like with the Muse, I was like, well, this deck is the Muse, so I'm just gonna. It was like full permission to allow it to be what it wanted it to be without my
Right.
head getting in the way.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see, and that's what I get from the deck too. Like for me, it's like a very deep feeling deck. Like if you want to just really get into it, like that's the one I go to. So I love that. I love that. And I love too that like for the Creators Oracle, like it's like your business brain started it, but then your creative brain finished it, right? It was like, whoa, wait a minute. No, we're going to do it my way. I love
Exactly.
that. It's so funny how that happens. So let's see. We have another question. So, what does a typical day look like for Chris-Anne? For example, does she dedicate a specific number of hours to creating, keep a schedule, etc.?
When I'm in production, absolutely. When I'm in production, I wake up. My first inclination is to like, oh, I have to go produce, because when I'm in production, it's a state of just like, okay, we're in this and it's fun and it's joyful, and I get so obsessed with my projects, but I need to stop myself when I'm in production, because if not, I will wear myself out and I will get so tired. So my first thing in the day when I'm actively producing something is, I'll wake up, I'll dedicate a little bit of time to either meditation or journaling, or, like I need that sacred pause in the morning.
Yes, it's so important.
I need it. I need it, or else I will just be like, off like a rocket and not stop until 11 p.m. Like that.
Right.
That can be my
Yes.
schedule on those, when I'm in that mindset. And it's a little bit, it's unhealthy. So I need to like balance myself and say, you're pausing right now.
Right, right. I know, I know.
You
It's
need
hard
to eat.
too. It's so hard.
I'm that typical creative, that kind of goes whoosh, and I'm so into it and I'm so excited about it, and I'm like, oh gosh, it's like 4 o'clock and I forgot to have breakfast, and I don't even notice it because I'm so unless I take that morning pause, which then kind of like sets my day up for like, okay, what am I gonna do today, and what am I gonna eat for lunch, and I kind of think about all that stuff.
Yeah, it kind of
You know?
brings that mindfulness to you, right? Like it brings it back. So I do the same thing. Like I'm do it, and then all of a sudden, like you said, it's like 4 or 5 o'clock, and I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. And it's so crazy.
Exactly. Because I'm so absorbed, I'm just engrossed in the work.
Yes.
But right now, I mean, a typical day for me, I would say, that's almost an oxymoron. I am, because I'm someone that has so much Mercury energy. I don't know a ton about astrology, but I am like a Virgo sun, Virgo rising, Gemini moon, all of those
Oh, okay.
are super, super Mercury. And my Mercury's at like 29 point something degrees, which is also a big, like, for Mercury's also in Virgo. Like,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
like when they do those tests, those tests that you do, and it's like, okay, if you're like between 30 and 45 Mercury, you're off the charts. And I'm like, what if you're 55? Like that's, so Like I have
Right.
so much Mercury that my days change a lot, and my like so my day from year to year, like while I like to think there's a consistency, if I really look back, you'd be hard pressed to find, year over year consistency.
Right.
Because
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
always like in doing a different project, doing something differently, into a different type of like mindfulness, or my meditation looks different. For the last year, my meditation has been instead of like I used to do a lot of guided visualizations, and then
Mhm.
last year I was just really needing like the old school meditation where you're not thinking about anything and it's just like
Yeah.
the
Just
mind,
clearing it.
right?
Yeah.
And right now it's a lot of movement. So there is that, I still have some things that to me they're the same because it's my time, my mindset time, my meditation time, but the practice is different.
Right.
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 I
Which,
just that change.
yeah, I think it needs to change too, though. It needs to definitely do that because I'm even like that. Like sometimes I'm doing like Kundalini, and then sometimes I'm just doing, like you said, regular, just mind clear meditation. But it makes so much sense to me too that you have a Gemini moon. Like there's those two. There's that creative and business mind right there, and then all the Virgo in it with all the details. Like that is very just delicious. There's lots going on there. I love it. So for sure.
Which is probably why I'm still having tech problems in shadow here, right?
See, that's it. It's just hanging on. It's following you around, and it's okay. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. Oh my gosh. All right, let me see. People are okay. I thought someone was trying to join, so I was
You
trying
know,
to.
I used to, and this is very recently, and probably why Mercury, came up today. It's been in my awareness in the last few weeks because I used to really beat myself up a little bit for being that artist who doesn't have like one style, because I really look up to all the artists that I look up to. They have these definitive styles where I look at their stuff and I'm like, well, that's them, and I know it. And as soon as their stuff comes into my feed, I know it's theirs. And I know that my work is never going to be like that
Right.
because that's just not the way I create. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I have this little like pang of like, oh, I wish that my work was like that. But I mean, that part of me shows up in my decks, because if you look at the Muse and Sacred Creators and Curious Creatures, and like they're all so different, like there are elements of
Yeah.
the mindset behind them stays similar, like the way the voice of them is maybe somewhat the same, but the way they
Right.
look is, I mean, they could be done. I think I don't know if people would look at them and assume that they were all from the same artist.
I mean, I do. I can tell your decks when I see them. I
Yay!
can. I can because I do. And I love that. That they are all a little bit different. I love that because I feel like that's almost like picking like a different faucet of your mind. Like each one, it's like a facet rather. And so I can definitely tell because I feel like there's just that thread through them all. That's you. And it's just like these little like we get to just like stop at like a little road, little Chris Ann road, and we just stop at the little side things, like you're going down like Indiana and you see like the greatest head of cheese or something. It's like we're just going through and we're just seeing all these things, and I really and I think, and that's what I love about your art. I love that, and I love seeing all the different things that you're just coming up with, and I think it's awesome. And it's unique, and I think in that uniqueness there's greatness, so I think we'll take it. Right.
Well, I couldn't do it any other way.
Yeah, no, and I think I love it, and I think though that's also really inspiring for other artists that are they don't stick to just one genre of art or one style of art too, and that like, oh, all right, other people are doing this too, so that you're sharing that with everyone. I think is also helping those other artists out there as well, and inspiring them for sure. So who are like your favorite artists right now? Who inspires you right now?
It's funny. I'm thinking, if I think about tarot world, or I get inspired in so many different ways. Like
Right.
I am more likely to get inspired through walking into a shop and finding little bits of fabric or paper, or going to like a Michael's, and like I've said this before, but I'm like a magpie. I'll go in there and I'll just look at all the shiny things, and I could spend 2 hours just like, you know, making my way through all the things with no inclination really to buy. Like I may find something,
Right.
but it's just that inspiration. Or places really inspire me as well. So I love, love, love to travel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like the Sagrada Familia, the big Gaudi's church in Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
Like going into
Yes.
like that sort of like those things inspire me more than other people's art. You know what I mean? Or
Mm-hmm.
ideas
Yeah.
inspire me. But if I'm thinking about like when I was thinking about that, like, you know, when I see people's art that comes through my feed, I have a friend, Joe, she runs the Moon Journal. Do you know the
Mm-hmm.
Moon
Oh,
Journal?
okay.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a beautiful account, and just the way
Yes.
she puts all of her stuff together, and it always looks like this kind of moody, like I love those like moody with dark green images that she
Yes.
does, and that's really, I find
No,
that kind of
she's
inspiring.
beautiful.
Right,
Yeah. Like
such
I.
beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
Or Danielle Noel, I mean, from
Yes.
Starchild, her stuff is always like I look at it and I'm like, oh, I know it's hers. It's fantastic.
Yes.
It's beautiful. It's like surreal. I love stuff that is surreal. I love stuff that's magical. I also, you know, yeah. So I mean, I could go. There's so many different places I could go with that. As far as like, I tend to be more inspired by moody stuff and stuff that is a little more you know, even growing up, you can hear my dog in the background. Sorry, that's her leash or her collar going.
Totally fine.
Even growing up, I really liked things like Tim Burton and kind of like the wacky sort of, you know, sort of pseudo witchy, but not super, you know, like I like this kind of
Yeah.
magical mystery when it comes to art.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was big like Shel Silverstein when I was young. Like I always like I don't know why. And like even like it's all very simple, but some of it was so like kind of creepy and it was like for kids and I
Yeah.
don't know and I was like so drawn to it. And it was just one of those moments when I'm like, yeah, I guess I am the weird kid.
Yeah, I love that stuff that like edges on creepy but isn't like overtly, you know, and I don't know, I've always just loved that for art, you
Yeah.
know, when it comes to something that inspires me,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Like that's kind of
No, definitely.
but that it's really funny because I'm so inspired by that. And there have been many, many times in my life that I've tried to paint something like that or create
Mm-hmm.
images like that, and something always happens where they always end up like way too happy, or I can't, it doesn't come out of me,
Yeah.
but I love it, you know?
Right. Or it just comes out in a different way,
Yes.
right? Like
Yeah.
that, and I love that's awesome. I do. I love that. Let me see. We have a question. It says, do you have a tarot card that you're drawn to when looking at a new deck?
I used to. I
Mm-hmm.
used to. I used to love, love, love the Hermit. I still love the Hermit, but that
Yeah.
used to be kind of like the card that if I didn't like the Hermit in a deck, I didn't like the deck. Like it was like a
Right.
make it or break it card for me. And I don't have that anymore. I don't know when that went away, but I think it was probably more when I really understood that card more than any of the other cards, or
Mm-hmm.
I just felt so connected to that card as kind of my guide as I was learning. And I had no idea that that card was also connected to Virgo. I had no until later
Right.
years, but it is. So sure enough, it was just like my card was my card.
It is. Yeah. I love that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know. And that it does change for me too. Like I even like lately it's been the Queen of Wands. I don't know why. I just go right to the Queen of Wands. Like I want to see what that one is, like right away. So it is. And then but it does change. It does change all the time too. And I think just like anything else, just like kinds of divination, all that just is one of those things. Like you're like we were talking about meditation, it just all changes and evolves, and it's just going with it is so important, and not resisting and being like, but no, the card I always look at is this card. It's like, no, there can be other things, because people get so stuck in that, right? Like they get stuck in that routine of this is what I do and this is how I do it.
Yeah.
And and just even when you're just talking about intuition and stuff like that, they need to be reminded that no, you can step out of that. You can go out of that. You don't have to stay.
Yes. Full
Let's see.
permission to change.
Yes.
I will
All
give that
right.
to everyone. You have permission
Yes.
to change your
All
mind,
the
change what
time.
you do, to change. You change whatever it is that you want, right? Like that is,
All the things.
yeah.
Absolutely. Let me see. Someone's asking, do you have a favorite tarot deck that you use, or do you just use your own decks?
It changes too. Of course, I don't have one answer that that remains.
Yeah, again.
But my decks have seasons,
Yes.
right? So I definitely have had periods in my life where I have like 3 or 4 decks that I'm using all the time. I'm trying to think of like, all right, so the ones that would be like the old reliables would be like I love the Druidcraft, and I've loved it for years, and I still love it, and I'll still pull that out.
Mhm.
And the Wildwood,
Yeah.
so they're kind of the same artist, same style.
Hmm.
And the Mary L is really also like one that I will pull out if I just want to do any sort of deep, if I know that I need some alternative answers because the artwork is not conventional on that deck. And
Right.
also,
Yeah.
it's kind of it's like a shadowy deck for me, so I use it a lot when I'm trying to figure something out within myself.
Right.
Or I have like this like there's a deck called the Tarot of is it the Tarot of the Magical Forest? Yeah, it's like one of my
Oh
favorite
yes, I
decks.
have that one.
It's
Yeah.
like little like
They're like those little peoply, like, or animal things. Like,
animals, and they're just so
they're just,
cute.
they
They're
are.
like they're little foxes, and they're just
Yeah,
so adorable.
they are. Yeah. That's
That
like the
one.
creepy cute. Like, it's creepy cute.
I
Like, that's
don't
how
find that creepy at all. I don't
yeah,
find that
I
one creepy.
love it.
I'm like, oh, I should know that some people would see that as creepy because often people are like, "Do you know any tarot decks for kids?" And I'm like, "There, that's the one." It's just so
Right, right.
cute, right? They're these cute little animals. I just love that deck, and it's got because it's so soft, and it will get and
Hmm.
it's also very traditional as far as kind of being like a Rider-Waite Smith clone deck, right? But
Right.
they're cute and fluffy, and if I'm sensitive that day, then maybe I want to spend some time with those little creatures instead of
Yeah.
the Marielle.
Right, right, right. No, well, that's what, like, because I've recommended that to people too, and they're like, "These are creepy," and I don't think they're creepy. I think they're adorable. So I just say they're creepy cute because I never know, like, what someone how they feel about it. So it's like, okay, fine. But the Marielle is a great deck for
Yeah.
doing shadow anything for sure. That's a good one. Um,
And one that has become it's becoming a personal fave, and it's I mean I love it, but Avalon Cameron's Bonestone deck.
yes.
That deck I just
Hmm.
love, and I say it's becoming a favorite just because it hasn't been when I was talking about like it's only a few years. I haven't had it for like many years to kind of
Right.
but it's yeah, that's also a really fantastic deck as far as like an indie deck goes. There's so many great indie decks. There's
Yeah.
yeah.
No, there are for sure. So somebody is asking here, do you speak Spanish and where did you learn it?
Ah, hablo español. I do. I'm fluent in Spanish. My husband is from Chile, and so
Oh, there you go.
I lived in Chile on one of those moments in my life, and I do this probably 7 or 8 years where I'm like picking up and I'm changing everything, and I moved to Chile.
Oh my God, that is fantastic.
So I lived in Chile, and so prior to that, I spoke Portuguese. So it was very
Okay.
easy for me to switch that
Hmm.
to Spanish, and it was sink or swim, really. I mean, when you're living in a foreign country and you want to work and you want to survive,
That's
you
the
must
best way
learn
to
the
learn for
language.
sure. Oh my gosh. That's what I need to do. I need to do that. I need to go just in some Spanish country. I'm always like trying, like learning slowly, but I haven't like fully gotten there yet. One day I will. When I go traveling.
Really, I think it's just being immersed in a culture, and I love language and culture, like I always have.
Yeah.
And like currently, right now, I am trying to study Mandarin just because, like, it's just like it's my brain needs more food, it needs more ingredients, and I'm going to acupuncture school. I started acupuncture school 8 years ago, stopped for a bunch of years, and now I'm back.
Mhm.
I went back in September. So, I mean, but I do these things where every it seems to be on a cycle of 7 or 8 years where
Yeah.
I just realize that I need more input. Like, it's almost like the creative well, especially because I haven't done very much in the last like year and a half. I haven't been,
Right.
we haven't been traveling, haven't been able to just meander around and look at all the beautiful
Hmm.
things. And so for me, I need more creative ingredients. So that's studying. So
Yeah.
going to school, I have no idea where it's going to lead. I don't know if I'll ever work in acupuncture, but I just find it
Right.
so fascinating, like how the energy runs in the body. And
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah, no, it's fascinating. It really is. Like, I think it's really, it's just amazing to me too that it's been around for so long. like thousands of years they've
Yeah.
been doing this stuff,
It,
It's
it's an old, like I think it's an ancient, it's like a wisdom tradition of how the energy works in the body, right? So I'm just fascinated to learn. Someone wrote her Gemini is showing. There you go. It wasn't a lie.
it's there. That's amazing. So now with your new deck, the Tarot Curious Creatures, what was your inspiration for that? How did that one come about?
I had my, let's see, it was like December 2019. My teenage nephews flew in and they spent a month with us. They're my nephews from Chile, and they spent a month with us to go snowboarding. And so we had this like full month of like two teenage boys in the house. And I think that that just sort of course, that shifts the energy. And it was so much fun. And we were snowboarding, all of us, all the time. And like,
Oh, that's
what do
awesome.
you do with teenage boys? We were, going out and we were like, let's take them axe throwing, and we bought
Right.
these sticker packs and we put stickers on everything. I mean, we're just, we had so much fun. There was so much, silliness in the house
Yes.
that out of, that's when I started creating the deck. The boys
Oh,
were
wow.
sitting with my husband. They were playing. My husband likes to play PlayStation. So the three of
Hmm.
them were on PlayStation, and I was sitting in
Yep.
the room. I wasn't playing. I was like watching them and just laughing. And had to do a lot of cleaning.
Yes. I have four boys.
Yeah, okay, you
Yes.
get it.
I get
and,
it.
um, and I was sitting with my laptop one night, and then I was just playing with images, and the first card for the deck showed up. And one of my nephews looked over at the computer, and he kind of laughed, and he's like, what is Tia Chris making over here? Like, what is she like? What is that bird lady? And it just was born out of this joy of having this really different playful energy, like we're very playful anyways, but like having it amped
Mhm.
up, right?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I love that. I love that. It's just like totally excited into you, like your creativity was like, oh, I'll take some of this. Here
Yeah.
we go. That's
Really,
amazing.
that's why I
Yeah.
needed different ingredients, because I feel like I am someone, not all artists will agree, but I really think that for me, the muse and creativity, it's like outside of myself, and I become just the tool, like the
Right.
vessel, the I know how to use this paintbrush, or I know how to use this Photoshop. So I
Yeah. So you just like focus that energy and then do something with it.
yes,
Right.
yeah.
Right. That's amazing. So what was the first card? Was it the one, the High Priestess?
No, no,
Or
it
is it?
was, it was, I'll share her with you. It was the
Yes.
Justice. So the first woman was this bird. It's an African gray parrot. Let me see if I can find
Oh,
her here.
yeah.
My deck is not in order, the one that I have here, of course.
Yes. No, mine is. I used it on our live on Monday. I do a live every Monday, and I pull cards for like every sign of the zodiac, and we had so much fun this week with it. Oh, her, yes.
Yeah, she's an African gray, and so it's just like just playing with this one, and you can.
Right.
I mean, it's funny because I had just the last deck that I had done prior to that was the Muse, and you
Right.
can sort of see that there's like this Muse-ish, deserty
The color, yeah, like
bottom,
the
and the colors
color,
are very
yeah.
Muse-y. And then from this, everything sort of shifted. But when I did her, she feels like she's kind of one step out from the Muse. So I left the Muse because this was
Yeah.
actually in the Muse, this same desert bottom. And I
Right.
thought,
Yeah. No,
I'm
I
just going to
definitely the
leave it because
color.
it's like, it makes sense. It's like the evolution, right?
Oh, wow. Oh, that's super cool. Oh my gosh, I love that. So like how like just as you were going along creating these, so obviously it's like an animal head on a human body. Now, did you find the poses first or did you find the animal first?
You know what? It totally
Just what?
depended on the card, because there were poses that were like, we need to make this one work. And then there were animal heads. You're limited when you're looking for animals, like, because most animal photos don't have the expression that you need. So
Yes.
in most cases, it was the other way around, where we needed to find a body for the head, because that, when you find a pig that looks like I said, I'm just thinking of the pig from the Four of Pentacles, like
Mm-hmm.
that, you find this face where it actually is like grimacing, or like this, or like, you, yeah, oh my gosh, we laughed so much. I haven't worked with this very closely with my assistant, like looking for all of the images, and I cannot tell you how much we laughed when we were making this deck
No,
because
it sounds
finding
like it's just like so much fun to do. Like, especially like if they really weren't working and you're like, oh, hey, we're not going to use that one. Were there any that were like you put together and you're like, oh, take this apart immediately?
we
Like,
did.
this is no good.
We have you know what we've started to do, and the timing hasn't felt right, but because I thought, okay, I don't want to put this out prior to the deck because people may think that those are the actual cards, but we have some gifts that we've created where it's sort of um
Oh, yes.
like as if we were doing a casting call, and like, no, this head doesn't work and this head definitely
Oh,
doesn't.
I must see that. You must, after this is all out and distributed in the world, please do that. Because, like, I was totally thinking, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I was here for this because it looked like it was so much fun. And, you know, like I was saying, when we were doing the cards Monday too, the Eight of Wands kept popping up. And I just cannot get this out of my head. I absolutely love it. I'm like, I just want to be him like every single day.
And the expression, right? I mean, like, so like the
Yes.
process there is like we found this turtle, and that turtle, like, he's, like, what, you just don't
Yeah.
find a turtle with that expression. But then on top of it, I go in and like I made the eyes a bit bigger, and I made the eyes, like, trying to make the eyes more expressive on top of that. So the process was just, it was one that was so filled with laughter, and I just,
Yeah.
it will become a part of my new way of working, that I want to
Mhm.
feel some of that. Like, I did feel joy. I felt inspired and moved with the other decks, but with this deck in particular, it was just, there was something to that energy that, I needed it, and I was so, oh gosh, I was so thankful through 2020 to have that to,
Yeah.
like, turn to, and like, okay, we're going to work now. We're going to work for this on, 5 hours on this, and gave me that kind of like moment of just, okay, I have to go work on like this this crazy looking,
Right.
turtle.
No, and I do, and I love that, and that's what I love about it because it's so playful, and for me right now, it's reading very like sassy, which is great, and I love it, and there's like so many elements with it, and they just all are popping out, and you have there's obviously that 50 million things happening in it, but every time you look at it, there's something else that kind of pops out. And I love that. And it always makes it so interesting because you pull this card, but it's never the same card, right? And that goes along with a lot of them. But I love that it's just so visual in that way. And, this is also a great deck too for people who are just learning to read, because it's not so serious, not so Rider Waite Smith serious. And you're like, oh, well, the guy's doing this and he's doing that. This is like, it's just, you just take that and it really just taps your intuition, and I love that. And it's like so much fun. It is. It's so much fun. It's like such a great deck for this, just what we've all been going through. Excuse me. And, I love that too in the guidebook that you gave the ideas about doing the path working. Like that is so much fun,
Part
and
of
I was even thinking too, like if you're stuck, if you're trying to create something and you're stuck, to just even do like that path working exercise, because that will so kickstart everything
Yes.
for sure. I
Yeah,
love that.
part of the what I wanted to do with the deck was also, I the characters go over top of the border, because it's like a deck with a border, which was, which is
Yeah.
not, it's not on trend anymore. But I was like, I wanted to put the border. I wanted to put the border so that you can see like they're sort of coming out of the border.
Yes, yeah. Like even this, like with this, like his foot is
Yes.
coming right out. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted that kind of idea that they are coming out of the card to chat with us, and that idea of making the card this like this gateway, this portal, so that we can go in and out of the card and we can path work, or they can come out and path work with us in our daily, imagine them in our worlds. And I also wanted the deck to be something that would help us to, like, not that we don't take our card reading and our spirituality seriously. We do, 100%, like we all do. But sometimes we can take it almost to this place of like, I need to know the reasons why, and we can get so enamored with the shadow work that it can become dense, and it can become, we can become so enamored with it and take that on as part of our identities, and then it's really hard to leave that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And so part of what I
absolutely.
wanted to do, and not that we, you know, it's like, but why are you doing all that shadow work if you don't want to turn around and make something good out of it and be happy afterwards? Like
Right,
I
right.
don't
Like
need to
just
do that
making
work.
like some
Right.
room for like the happy stuff. For yeah,
Yes.
like you just it's like, you know, I mean, we can all be dark and broody sometimes, but we don't want to live there.
Right. Right.
Right?
So part of it, I was like, okay, I want to create something that is this tool that we can go have this amazing conversation with these creatures, these like, you know, playful, joyful, peculiar creatures, but then at the same time also learn that we don't need to always take ourselves so seriously, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's so important too. And it's just, you know, tapping into that inner child, right? And just going back to that fun and the wonder, and you know, because sometimes that there's inspiration in that too, you know, and I think we forget that because we get all stuck up here and we're all so serious, and then, you know, then it's no fun. That's not fun. We need to have fun. It's important. And I think, you know, the timing of this is just great too, because it's been like that. We've all been kind of in that dark broody and going inside, or, you know, because we've been home, we've had that little bit of extra time even to dive into that.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. Like you kind of get stuck in that. So, you know, I love that you can break out this deck and just start using it and just kind of pull yourself out of it. Like, no, you don't need to be stuck in there. You know, you don't have to. You could go have some fun
Yes.
and talk to these creatures and see what they have for you. Because they are quite sassy. I love it. Like I love that it's sassy for me because it just makes it that much more fun. And that's like I've been talking about the turtle all week because like he's my guy this week. Like
Love
he's
it.
hanging out with me. I absolutely love it. So what do you have? Do you have any other projects on deck? I know you're always up to something, so that you can share, I guess I should
Yeah,
say.
you know, to be honest with you, I have been I have been playing with so many different, I have like a lot of half finished projects. And so I've been trying to think about like what would happen, you know, I want to kind of tie up some loose ends, like even energetically to say like, is this project a go or is it not? You know, am I going to write that book or am I not? You know, like I have all of these like things that have little bits of my energy. And so I'm in a moment, in an interesting moment as a creative where, you know, I felt like midway through the year this year, I felt like, okay, there's not a lot of inspiration to do something new, which is
Mhm.
not who I generally identify with as me. You know what I mean? Usually
Right,
there's
right.
always like a million things.
Yeah.
And then the ideas started coming, but I didn't have the inspiration to do the work around the ideas. Because sometimes you have like a million creative ideas, but you don't have the energy to kind of go and like I'm going to do seven,
Yeah.
8 cards. Like it's doing a deck is a big project.
Yes.
So I've got a few little things that I have been doing just to sort of make, you know, like, and allowing the muse to take me where it wants to go. But like I said, I'm also
Mhm.
in school because I know
Yes.
that I needed new ingredients. So part of it is that I know that there's something brewing in the background that has to do with the energy of the body and how that works. And so this is
Ooh.
why I deeper dive in acupuncture and how that shows up in a deck or in my world. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm just drawn to that and like to the energy systems as far as like moving. You know, I really think that after last year, emotions getting stuck in our bodies physically is going to be a really big thing that we need to work on
Yeah.
collectively. So that's sort of where my brain
Mhm.
is going, but I don't know
Okay.
what that is. And there is a book that I've been thinking about doing, like a tarot guidebook, almost like a standard guidebook that could work for any deck.
Okay.
And I've got like a smaller project that I will be I'm doing something. It's just fun, and I think it will probably be ready for November. As I've been doing, and this is like it's not a creative work, but it's just a creative offering, I suppose, where I've been writing on cards, like just getting messages, writing messages directly on the cards, and I'm thinking about doing just like one card snail mail um,
Oh my gosh, that's
draws,
great.
but like with like messages written on the cards, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's fun. Oh, I love that idea. Whoops. Oh, that's like knocked my phone over here. So Beverly wanted to know if there's any prints available. She's looking for the purchase of Light Seers Death Reprint, uh, Rebirth print. So I don't know.
I've had them like off and on, you know, like sometimes there's a few available and I put them online and put them in the shop. We've been
Yeah.
thinking about that for gosh, I really should just get my act together and get that ready for Christmas. At least
It's
a
on the
5x7 or an 8x10. We don't, so when I did the light series, I didn't do it in a large enough format to be able to do these big blown out postery kind of things.
Okay.
We can do
Yeah.
that with the Muse. We can do that with Tarot of Curious Creatures. And I wish I had had the foresight when I began that deck to do it at a larger scale, and I just didn't. But
Yeah.
but we can do smaller ones. So maybe, you know what, I will get
Cool.
some together. We have like a 4x6 postcard pack that we've done.
Oh, okay.
A
Yeah,
couple of,
that's
you
good
know,
though.
because they go into frames nicely.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, because even they have the frames, like, there's like a couple of them in like one frame, like that would look really cool too. I like that idea. That's good. I like that. I say go for it. Definitely. Yeah, no, that is super amazing. I just want to see if there's any other questions because we are like up to an hour already. And I feel like I could just keep talking to you forever, but you know, we gotta like.
It was so nice to chat. I was so looking forward to, you know, getting live with you, and
Yes.
really nice.
No, it was super fun. And also, Amber put in all the links of where to find you and all your things, and your websites are beautiful, by the way. Absolutely gorgeous. And we are looking forward to it. So that is the Tarot of Curious Creatures is officially out on the 2nd, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, and also thank you for mine. Thank you. And everybody, you can get it at Amazon, Hay House, the website, all of the places. And definitely be sure to go ahead and do that very soon because, you know, shipping is a thing. And so, Beverly wanted to know about the prints as well. And you're going to work on that, right? So I'm sure you'll announce that on all your
Yes, yeah. I will put it on my Instagram. And you know, okay. I'm not fantastic at like you know, I'll put it up and then I'm like, oh, I talked about it. And I'm not fantastic at like consistently putting things up, but where I do put them when they're available is I'll put it in my bio links.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So then, you know, anybody, if you are interested in that, just, you know, just check it here and there. And when it's popped up, it'll pop up and then it'll be good to go to order. So, all right. Well, Chris, thank you so much. Thank you everybody for joining us. Make sure to go check her out, check out all her things, follow her. And then when you do get the deck, tag her, post it, do a review. Reviews are gold for all of us. So definitely make sure to do that as well. And thank you so much, Chris-Anne. I was so happy to finally get to chat with you.
Yes, so
Bye.
Bye.